In recent days, several mysterious photos have caused a stir on military forums and social media. Could the oddly shaped aircraft depicted in these images be the long-rumored Eastern gunship? Judging by its fuselage outline, proportions, and wing details, this aircraft, known externally as the GX-18, is highly likely to be a new generation gunship developed from the Y-9 tactical transport platform. Whenever the term gunship is mentioned, the first name that comes to mind for most military enthusiasts is undoubtedly the U.S. Air Force's AC-130 gunship. But setting aside the aura bestowed upon it by Hollywood blockbusters, let's take an objective look. Does this aerial firepower behemoth, born over half a century ago, still hold any practical value in the logic of modern warfare? What strategic and technical considerations lie behind this major Eastern power's sudden release of information regarding such a model? First, it must be made clear that a so-called gunship is by no means simply a matter of haphazardly welding a few cannons onto an aircraft. It is a specialized combat platform that uses a tactical transport aircraft as its carrier, equipped with side-firing weapon systems, advanced fire control radars, and electro-optical sensors, designed specifically to carry out long-endurance, sustained ground fire suppression missions. Its core advantage lies in its ability to carry up to 10 tons of ammunition on a large platform, circling like a lighthouse over target areas for hours to conduct precise sweeps. To fully understand this aircraft type, we must first return to the smoke-filled jungles of the Vietnam War era. At that time, the U.S. military was not facing large-scale, head-on clashes with regular armies, but rather elusive North Vietnamese guerrillas relying on jungle cover and the seemingly endless supply lines of the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Jet attack aircraft were too fast and had extremely short loiter times, making it difficult to provide ground forces with an immediate, on-demand response. Faced with these unique requirements, the U.S. military turned to transport aircraft, a low-cost platform with high redundancy. In 1965, the AC-47D Ghost, equipped with an M134 Gatling gun, was deployed to the battlefield. The immense psychological deterrence and lethal effectiveness it provided immediately earned enthusiastic praise from frontline troops. The AC-47's tremendous success led the U.S. military to decide to develop a new platform, based on the larger C-130 Hercules. In 1967, the AC-130 was born. Subsequent models were equipped with 20mm Vulcan cannons, 40mm Bofors cannons, and even the Army's 105mm M102 howitzer was directly mounted in the fuselage. Throughout the Vietnam War, this flying gunboat destroyed over 10,000 military vehicles and hundreds of ships. Since then, whether during the invasion of Grenada, the Gulf War, operations in Afghanistan and Iraq in the early 21st century, or even the 2002 Operation Anaconda, targeting Al-Qaeda hideouts, the AC-130 has remained the Grim Reaper's scythe hanging over the heads of enemy forces lacking air superiority. However, this seemingly overwhelming advantage comes with extremely stringent prerequisites. It must be noted that all of the AC-130's glorious achievements are built upon one fundamental premise: absolute air superiority and a complete absence of enemy air defense firepower. During the latter stages of the Vietnam War and the Gulf War, the moment the enemy deployed SAM-7 or similar man-portable air defense systems, the cumbersome and extremely immobile AC-130 would instantly become a flying coffin. For example, in January 1993 during the Gulf War, an AC-130H was shot down by an Iraqi shoulder-fired missile, resulting in the deaths of all 14 crew members on board. Consequently, on the battlefield of modern great power conflict, when facing a formidable enemy equipped with comprehensive early warning, electronic jamming, and dense field air defense systems, this subsonic, non-stealth behemoth has virtually no chance of even approaching the combat zone. So the question arises, if even the U.S. military is considering removing the 105mm heavy cannon from the AC-130J and instead testing standoff weapons such as the Harpoon anti-ship missile or high-energy lasers, why is the major Eastern power still exploring this path? This points to a fundamental difference in mission requirements. These photos of what appears to be the GX-18 indicate that the relevant military departments are not targeting traditional ground assaults against powerful enemies, but rather low-intensity, asymmetric peacekeeping and counter-terrorism scenarios. In vast plateau deserts, complex and rugged border mountain ranges, or expansive maritime areas far from the mainland, this low-cost, long-endurance fire support platform can deliver stability maintenance value that neither armed helicopters nor reconnaissance and strike drones can replace. Regarding the debate over whether drones will replace gunships, this is a key point that must be clarified today. Many believe that in an era dominated by the Rainbow and Wing-Lung series of drones, developing bulky, manned gunships is a step backward. However, given the current technical limitations of large drones, these are actually two distinct categories of weaponry. The airframe structure of large drones is relatively thin and lightweight, making it fundamentally incapable of withstanding the immense recoil and vibrations generated instantaneously by a 105mm or 122mm howitzer. Forcing such weapons to fire would likely cause the drone to lose balance or even disintegrate in mid-air. More importantly, an aerial gunship serves as a multifunctional, flying command fortress. Its vast internal space can not only carry a large ammunition supply, but also house a complete command and control unit, and it can even function as an aerial mothership, an intelligence command center for forward drone fleets. This level of complex coordination and on-the-spot adaptability, achieved through human-in-the-loop control, represents an insurmountable gap for screen-controlled drones at this stage. Looking back at the Y9 as a modified platform, its technical logic is internally consistent. As a mature medium-sized tactical transport aircraft, the Y9 boasts a well-established production line and logistic support system, along with ample internal space to accommodate side-firing cannons, ammunition feed mechanisms, and a massive electro-optical turret. Recently leaked test flight photos show that multiple composite pylons have been reserved beneath the wings, suggesting that the aircraft will likely first carry light precision-guided munitions, or anti-ship missiles, such as the AGM-176 Griffin, for initial testing, before integrating a 122mm side-firing howitzer. Of course, as the Y9 is ultimately a model deeply modified from the N-12 platform of the last century, it still has certain limitations compared to later models of the U.S. Air Force's C-130J in terms of maximum payload, cargo hold width, and short takeoff and landing, STOL, performance in harsh high-altitude environments. However, the latest intelligence indicates that the all-new generation tactical transport aircraft, the Y-30, codenamed Nuzanyan, completed its maiden flight in Yanliang at the end of 2025. This 4-engine turboprop transport, with a maximum takeoff weight of 80 tons and a payload capacity of 30 to 35 tons, significantly surpasses the U.S. Air Force's C-130J Super Hercules in both cargo volume and transport capability. It is evident that the current testing of gunship variants based on the Y-9 platform is highly likely intended to lay the groundwork for future, more advanced large-scale platforms like the Y-30, specifically for technical development, firepower validation, and tactical integration. After all, the most prudent and efficient development strategy is to pave the way first. Once a superior platform arrives, all subsystems can be directly transferred to it. All things considered, the recent leak of photos of the Gyeoksan 18 is by no means a baseless rumor. It signifies that gunships, an extremely specialized form of air support, are gradually transforming from the exclusive domain of Western powers into a key component of the diversified low-altitude firepower system being built by the Eastern superpower to address its own complex security environment. This represents both a natural spillover of advancements in aviation manufacturing technology and a forward-looking strategic move to counter future non-traditional security threats. Well, that concludes this in-depth analysis of the mysterious Eastern gunship. What do you think when facing small-scale conflicts, which offers better value for money, this slow-flying, heavy artillery-equipped gunship, or a massive swarm of drones? Feel free to share your views and opinions in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.